All right, let's jump into a topic a lot of you have been asking about, renewable energy in Africa.
Specifically Ghana's solar potential.
Exactly. Some are even calling it a solar powerhouse. And today we're going to see if that's all hype or if there's some real substance to it.
Right.
And to help us do that, we've got this great interview with an energy policy expert on Ghana.
Yeah, Nicholas from the Renewable Energy Talk podcast. Really insightful stuff.
Yeah, he was. So to kick things off, one of the things that really stuck with me was just how much solar energy Ghana gets.
Oh, yeah, that's wild. Like, enough in a single day to power millions of homes, potentially.
Millions. That's a crazy amount of power from just the sun.
It is. It is. And that's
Right.
kind of the whole point, right? Like,
Yeah.
the potential for Ghana to skip over relying on fossil fuels, the traditional route, and just jump right into a clean energy future.
Yeah, leapfrogging right over all those old technologies. But let's back up for a second. Why is Ghana so well suited for this whole solar thing in the first place?
Well, it all boils down to location, location, location.
Of course.
Ghana is right there near the equator, meaning they've got sunshine pretty much year-round.
Soaking it up.
Yeah, think about it. Like 4 to 6 kilowatt hours of solar energy per square meter every single day on average.
Wow. That's consistency you can rely on.
Exactly. And that consistent sunlight is a huge deal when it comes to making solar energy work on a large scale.
Okay, so they've got the sunshine, but are they actually doing anything with it?
Oh, absolutely. Ghana's already got some pretty impressive large-scale solar projects up and running.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, there's that 20-megawatt solar park in Winneba, for one.
Okay, 20 megawatts, that's got to be a decent amount of power.
Yeah, it is. And then there's an even bigger one, 50 megawatts, in Bowie. So clearly they're not messing around. They're committed to this.
That's great to hear. But what about, regular folks, smaller communities? Are they seeing the benefits of this too?
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting. See, alongside those big projects, there's also been this huge increase in smaller installations.
Distributed solar, right.
Exactly. And these are popping up everywhere, especially in rural areas that have been left out of the traditional power grid for ages.
So solar is literally bringing power to the people in these areas.
It is, and that's a game changer for those communities.
It really is. But these developments are not happening in a vacuum, right?
Right.
What role has the Ghanaian government played in all of this?
Oh, they've been super proactive about it. I mean, a big turning point was the Renewable Energy Act they passed back in 2011.
Okay, tell me more about that. What made it so important?
Well, for one thing, it introduced those feed-in tariffs.
Feed-in tariffs, remind me what those are again.
Basically, it means if you're generating solar power, you can sell any excess electricity back to the grid at a guaranteed price.
Oh, right, yeah. So it's like you're being rewarded for going solar, almost like selling your extra sunshine.
Exactly. And it's a great way to encourage investment in solar, both from individuals and from bigger companies.
It makes a lot of sense. What other policies have they got going on?
Well, there's also the Renewable Energy Master Plan. This one lays out some pretty ambitious goals, like getting 10% of Ghana's energy from renewable sources by 2030.
10% by 2030, that's a pretty aggressive target.
It is. But it sends a really clear message to investors, both inside and outside of Ghana, that they're serious about this renewable energy thing. Like, this is where the future is headed, and we're going to be a part of it.
Yeah, putting your money where their mouth is.
Right. And speaking of investment, that's another area where Ghana's been really smart about attracting funding for these renewable energy projects.
Okay, so how are they doing that?
Well, one thing they've done is offer tax breaks on importing solar equipment.
So making it cheaper to get all the gear you need to set up shop.
Exactly. Lower the barriers to entry, and you get more companies interested in joining the party.
Smart move.
And then they've also taken steps to standardize those power purchase agreements.
Hang on, for our listeners who might not be familiar, can you just quickly explain what those are?
Sure. Basically, a power purchase agreement, or PPA, is a contract that lays out all the details of buying and selling electricity.
Okay.
So by standardizing these PPAs, Ghana is making it way easier for investors to navigate the whole process, all the legal and financial stuff involved in setting up solar projects. Less risk, more transparency.
It sounds like they've really thought this through. They're not just saying they want solar power. They're actually creating the conditions to make it happen.
Exactly. And that's why we're seeing all these local and international companies getting involved. They're seeing the potential. They're seeing that Ghana is serious, and they're like, okay, we want a piece of this.
Yeah, it's like a solar gold rush.
Haha, pretty much.
But it's a gold rush with a conscience.
For sure. And it's creating opportunities not just for big players, but also for smaller businesses and communities all across Ghana.
So it's more than just a good investment, it's a good story.
Exactly. It's exciting to see how these solar opportunities are popping up across so many different sectors in Ghana.
Okay, tell me more about that. Where are we seeing these solar hotspots, so to speak?
Well, one of the most promising areas has got to be the commercial and industrial sector.
Makes sense.
Yeah, businesses, big and small, are starting to realize that solar can actually save them a ton of money.
Yeah, how much are we talking here?
Some are seeing their energy costs drop by like 15, even 20% after switching to solar.
Wow, that's significant.
It is. So it's not just about, being green or whatever. It's good business sense.
Right, hitting them right in the bottom line. So I'm picturing like a factory, right, with its entire roof covered in solar panels, generating all this clean energy.
Exactly. And it's not just factories. Think about schools, hospitals, even shopping malls,
Yeah,
all running on sunshine.
that's a pretty cool vision. But what about those communities that have always struggled to get reliable electricity?
Right, those who've been left off the grid.
Yeah, you mentioned those smaller distributed solar installations earlier.
Right.
What kind of impact are those having in those areas?
Oh, it's huge, truly transformative. These mini grids, powered by solar, are bringing electricity to places that have never had it before.
I can't even imagine what a difference that must make.
Oh, it's life-changing. Kids can study at night. Clinics can store medicine properly. Businesses can actually operate more efficiently. Solar is empowering these communities in so many ways.
It's amazing to think about how something like electricity, which many of us take for granted, can have such a ripple effect.
Absolutely. But there's another aspect of Ghana's solar potential that we haven't talked about yet.
What's that?
Manufacturing.
Oh, interesting. So not just using solar, but actually making the technology itself.
Right. Could Ghana become like a solar tech hub for all of West Africa? That's the question.
Now, that would be a game changer. What makes Ghana a good candidate for that?
Well, a few things. For one, they've got a pretty stable political system, which is key for attracting long-term investment.
Makes sense.
Plus, their location is perfect, right on the coast, easy access to ports, and well-established trade routes. Makes it simple to export solar products to neighboring countries.
Right. So they've got the stability, the location.
hmm
What else?
Labor costs are competitive, and there's a young, growing workforce eager to learn these new skills.
And is the government on board with this?
Oh, yeah, they're actively promoting local manufacturing with, incentives and policies to encourage tech transfer.
So they're creating a whole ecosystem, basically.
Pretty much. But of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? There are challenges too.
Of course. So what are the biggest hurdles Ghana needs to overcome to make this solar dream a reality?
Well, one of the biggest ones, honestly, is that upfront cost. Solar can be really cost-effective in the long run, but that initial investment can be a big obstacle, especially for individuals or small businesses.
Yeah, solar panels aren't exactly cheap. Are there any solutions in sight for that?
Yeah, that's where some of the really innovative stuff is happening. We're seeing new financing models popping up, things like pay-as-you-go systems.
Pay as you go.
Yeah, basically, you pay for your solar electricity as you use it, so there's no huge upfront cost. Makes it much more accessible.
Oh, like a solar subscription almost.
Yeah, kind of. And it's opening up solar to a whole new group of people.
That's fantastic. But I'm guessing cost isn't the only challenge. What else are they dealing with?
Another big one is the skills gap.
Right. You need people who actually know how to install and maintain all this stuff.
Exactly. You can't just import the technology. You need trained technicians to keep it running smoothly.
So how are they addressing that?
Well, the good news is they're aware of the problem, and they're working on it. There are more and more vocational training programs specifically focused on solar technology popping up.
So they're building that local expertise.
Right. And it's creating jobs, which is another bonus.
Definitely a win-win. Now, with all these challenges and opportunities, I'm curious, how is the private sector responding to all this? Are companies actually stepping up?
Oh, yeah. There's definitely a lot of enthusiasm and some really cool innovation coming from the private sector.
What are some of the standout solutions you're seeing?
Well, one example is companies that are offering these flexible payment plans for solar installations.
Okay, so tailoring those payments to what people can actually afford.
Exactly. It makes solar a realistic option for, regular folks, not just big businesses.
That's a good thing. Anything else?
We're also seeing a lot of partnerships forming, which is really exciting.
Partnerships between.
International companies with local Ghanaian businesses. So you've got that global expertise combined with, local knowledge and networks. It's a really powerful combo.
It sounds like things are really moving and shaking over there.
They are. And, thinking about the next 5 years, I'm really optimistic about what's in store for Ghana's solar sector.
Okay, give us your prediction. What do you see happening?
I think we're going to see, like, exponential growth, honestly. More large-scale projects, more rooftop solar on homes and businesses, and hopefully the beginning of that local manufacturing industry we talked about.
It sounds like Ghana is well on its way to becoming a real leader in this whole African solar movement.
Yeah, I think so. What they've managed to accomplish in such a short time is pretty remarkable. And it's not just about technology. It's about, people creating jobs, empowering communities. It's a really good news story all around.
It really is. It seems like Ghana's really hitting on all cylinders here. Economic growth, social progress, and environmental sustainability all rolled into one.
Yeah, it's a pretty compelling model.
But what about the bottom line, the financial side of things? We talked about all this investment, but are these solar projects actually profitable?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Investors are seeing really good returns in Ghana's solar sector.
Like, how good are we talking?
Well, it depends on the specific project, obviously, but returns in the 10 to 15% range are pretty common.
Wow. Some even higher, I bet.
Yeah, sometimes even higher. So it's attracting both those impact investors, the ones focused on social and environmental good, and also those more traditional investors just looking for a solid return.
Right. So Ghana's solar revolution is not just a nice idea, it's actually a smart investment.
Exactly. And that creates like a positive feedback loop.
How so?
Well, as more investors see the potential for profit, they pump more money into the sector, which leads to even more growth and innovation. Everybody wins.
It's a pretty remarkable story, all things considered. So just to recap, Ghana has got tons of sunshine, supportive government policies, a private sector that's all in, and they're really focused on building local expertise. And to top it all off, it makes good financial sense.
You got it.
Mhm.
Ghana is showing the world that a clean energy future is possible, and it can actually be really good for the economy and for people.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful, and honestly, it's left me feeling really optimistic about the future of renewable energy, not just in Ghana, but across Africa as a whole.
Me too. Me too.
So for our listeners who, wanted to learn more about what Ghana's doing, what's the one thing you'd want them to take away from all of this?
Hmm. That's a good question. I guess the main takeaway is that developing nations don't have to follow the same old path, the one that relies heavily on fossil fuels.
Right, they can chart their own course.
Exactly. They can jump right into a clean energy future and reap the rewards, create jobs, empower their communities, and attract investment.
That's a powerful message, and it makes you wonder what other African nations are poised for a similar transformation.
Right. There's so much potential across the continent.
Well, on that note, as we wrap up our deep dive into Ghana, I want to leave our listeners with a little something to think about. We've talked about Ghana's success, but there's another country with huge solar potential that I think is worth exploring: Namibia.
Oh, yeah. Namibia's doing some interesting things, too.
They've got vast solar resources and some ambitious plans to become a major player in the renewable energy space. So for our listeners, dig a little deeper, check out what Namibia is doing and how their approach compares to Ghana's. What are their unique challenges and opportunities? It's a great way to get an even broader perspective on the exciting world of renewable energy in Africa.
Couldn't agree more. And it just shows that this is just the beginning. The future of energy in Africa is bright, literally.
It is. And thanks to countries like Ghana, that future is looking cleaner and more sustainable every day. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating journey, and we hope you'll keep exploring the amazing potential of renewable energy.